What's up, everybody? It's Brandon from Box Office Banner, Cult Flick Symposium. I'm going to attempt to do this video for a fourth time. I'm so sorry. Maybe a fifth? Is it fourth or fifth? Can't really remember. Fourth or fifth time I've tried to do this video. I'm sorry it's taken this long to come out. People that watch the channel are like, probably like, he released a sports video before he even released this shit? Yes, it's the top 100 movies of 2023. And for reference, it's not the top 100 movies necessarily, because it's not, like, if your movie's not on there, it didn't not make my top 100. I just watched 100 movies, okay, on the dot. And I was really behind. At the end of the year, I didn't make a lot of videos. I was spending all my time trying to get to that landmark of 100 movies, which is still well shy of the 160 I watched the year prior that I had to rank, which was even a more massive ranking. But I started the year off slow last year because I watched so many damn movies at 160. But I still was sitting there at the end of last year like, damn, dude, I don't have enough movies. I want to at least hit 100. So I was kind of slow on my videos, using that time to watch more movies to make this list big. But then I was ready to go, you know, around January 3rd, something like that. Not too far in the year to rank it. And I've done this video like 4 or 5 times. No joke. Like, I mean, the first time I ranked these movies, I got about 20 minutes in and I had to abruptly leave. Sucks, but you know, when you got a long video, sometimes shit happens. I had to go to my daughter's dance practice. I wasn't thinking, and I was like, you know what? Fine, I gotta go. Yeah. Don't know what I was thinking recording it on that day. Then the next time, I came back the next day. I got about 20 minutes into the video again, and I had this moment, and I never redo videos. I was just like, this just ain't as fucking good as the one I had before, and I X'd out of it, and I rage quit, and then I stopped. And then I recorded another one where I got all the way through, and I listened back to it, and there was this weird, like, noise. And then I recorded another one, and the camera did the overheat thing, and I was like, fuck that. Fuck all this. None of these videos work. And if you've been on this channel, sometimes my camera overheats when it, you know, goes for 40, 45 minutes. And I was like, was that video too long? And now here I am again doing another one. There might have been another one in between there I'm forgetting about. And this is the one you're getting. We'll see what happens with it. But without further ado, we are going to fucking do this. And I'm sorry if this isn't the best thing ever, guys. I always want these to be, you know, legendary. It's the fucking reviews of the year. But like, I can't not release it at this point. And it's just driving me mad. And I took a couple days off and I was like, dude, I mean, it's January 13th. I got to get it out to y'all. So this is the top 100 movies, or the 100 movies I watched this year, ranked. And always important to remember, this is subjective, not objective. So you're going to see movies that are shit movies objectively that are going to be above great movies subjectively. Trust me, you'll see that on this list, and you should see that on anybody's list because that's bound to happen. If it's just cookie cutter, this is exactly where you would rank them objectively. I don't really take your list seriously, let's be honest. So know that going in before you're a stickler for my fucking list because, you know, I just said it right there. Well, it's my list. Number 100, Black Demon. This movie sucked ass, man. It was so bad. I do like the lead. I forget the actor's name, but it became more about their political-ish message with oil. It kind of fell out. I know it's been a while since I've seen this movie. I don't remember the exact message, but I remember it was taking away from the shark, and the shark action wasn't nearly as cool. The coolest shit was in the trailer. Number 99, Quasi. If you're a Broken Lizard fan, you might have some fun with this one. If you're not a Broken Lizard fan like me, I don't even really like Super Troopers that much. I don't hate these guys, but the Broken Lizard isms were dialed up a notch or two. A couple moments here and there, but overall an awful film to me. Number 98, Heart of Stone. Probably doesn't deserve to be this low, but this is an average action movie. It is the epitome of the average action movies that I am just so over in this day and age, and by the end of it, I was ready to rip my hair out, and I'm like, this cookie cutter bullshit. Number 97, Hidden Strike. I love Jackie Chan with all my heart. Maybe I got my own hopes up on this one because John Cena's been doing really good lately in terms of like comedy. I was like action comedy. Maybe this can be a decent Chan flick. Hidden Strike was fucking horrible. Number 96, Nefarious. You're going to see a lot of people on both ends of the spectrum with this fucking movie. I obviously was on the end of the spectrum that hated it. Religious propaganda. fucking Sean Patrick Flaherty. Is that his fucking name? I like the actor, Boondock Saints. I actually was really rooting for him in this fucking movie. I had high hopes for him, but he had this weird ability at times to look, I'm like, oh yeah, he's killing it like I wanted to. And then other moments just dipping into complete overacting to where it had a seesaw effect and rendered the movie and the acting that I wanted in terms of acting chops to elevate it useless. Number 95, this is a movie that should probably be higher on most lists. Haunting in Venice. I'm just over these movies. And my girl, Michelle Yeoh, kind of brought me back in for one more go round. If you've seen the movie, they kind of did her character not much justice, if you will. I don't want to say too much on that, but the movie frustrated me. I mean, as I said in my review, it's a shit movie wrapped up in fancy wrapping paper to me. Sorry, not sorry. You might love it, and that's okay. Like I said, objectively, it's better than a lot of the movies on this list. Another movie that's probably a little higher on most people's, Shazam and the Fury of the Gods. Is that what it's fucking called? The second Shazam movie. These movies dial up the campiness, you know. The thing is superhero movies already kind of teeter that line almost a little too close most times. These movies I just cannot take remotely serious, and it takes me out of the movie. Number 93, Expendables 4. I mean, these movies already bother me because I'm just like, God, if they would have done these movies in their prime. But now I'm looking around and I'm like, there's really not many left of the Expendables, you know, like the OGs that I think are supposed to be the base core of these movies, and they're running even lower. And, you know, like, it can't be just Jason Statham. It's got to be the 80s legends with the Jason Stathams and, you know, maybe a martial artist or two like in this one. And then some decisions and borderline redecisions that did not really work for me. Expendables 4 at 93. Number 92, Till Death Do Us Part. I thought this might be a sleeper type of horror movie. I was like, okay, watched it. No, dude, this movie's fucking horrible. We've seen this type of film done a million times before and a lot better. And, you know, it's like a woman John Wick defending her home with a couple twists, and it just does not work. It tries too hard. It doesn't work at all for me. Number 91, 91, 91, I don't know where that came from. It's a Wonderful Knife. See what you did there. Play on It's a Wonderful Life, and this is not a wonderful movie at all. I thought they dialed up, you know, the little Hollywood checklist political agendas a little too much. Like, this needs to be here, this needs to be here, make sure we have this person here. It felt a little too forced in all those areas, and the movie itself wasn't that good to begin with. Number 90, Paint. Owen Wilson. Couple moments in this movie I like, but the overall fucking vibe and feel of the movie made me just not like it. I mean, there's nothing frustrating about this movie, but the title's a good title, Paint. It's like watching paint dry. It just is not entertaining. And I get that's what they're going for, and there's a certain aesthetic here that I think will work for a lot of people. Did not work for me. This is a hit or miss type of movie for me. Fortunately missed, obviously, being this low on this list. Number 89, The Exorcist Believer. I think this movie is not as bad as what people say. Granted, and you're like, Brandon, it's number 89 on your list. It's a bad movie, but it's still not like, this is the worst movie of all time. How can they remake the classic? You know how motherfuckers are. They fuck The World Is Falling. But at the end of the day, man, there's just nothing exceptional about this movie, and it's frustrating. It is frustrating. And, you know, the attempt to remake a classic, it's like, why even do it? And it's just not a good movie at all. Number 88, it hurts me to have it this low. Beau's Afraid was, I'm afraid, a very bad fucking movie to me. I do want to watch it again, but that's even weird because I actually don't want to watch it again because of the first experience. I just wanted it to be over. Oh, that's hard to say. But I want to watch it again because it's Joaquin Phoenix and, more importantly, Ari Aster, who might be my favorite director right now. And I was all in on this movie for a while, but by the third act, even though there wasn't anything particularly wrong with it, I was just done with it. I was like saying in my head, and there's another movie on this list I felt this way too. I was just like, am I ready for this to be over? I'm like, yeah, dude, I want to leave. And I was like laughing and sad laughing at myself even, where I was like, why do I feel this way? What is going on, Brandon? Didn't enjoy it. Number 87, Five Nights at Freddy's. I've seen too many of these animatronic killer fucking doll-ish movies lately, and this one is even more watered down and, you know, guided for kids, which it probably should be. It seems like animatronic horror sounds more kid-friendly. I'm a big boy now. I don't know if you know that. I couldn't get into it. Shout out Matthew Lillard, though. That was the one cool part. Number 86, Mafia Mama. Love Toni Collette. This movie, though, very uneven. Like, it felt almost PG-13 in its acts of comedy, and then out of nowhere, it could get kind of gory with the fucking mob shit, which sounds cool to me because I'm a, horror guy. But it oddly made the movie have such a weird, playful yet uneven tone that just kind of made the movie just go downhill. And I can't quite quantify that, but I think you know what I'm talking about. It's a hard one to balance, and this movie didn't do it very well. Number 85, I think this movie's better than being this low, but it's simply because this is just not my thing. I cannot get into the Transformers movies. I kind of was pitched that this is better than the last few, and I'll give you that, but it didn't reinvent the wheel or anything, and it felt highly average to me. Transformers Rise of the Beasts 85. Meg 2. Oh my God. We are finally in our good movie section. All the way at 84. Yeah, Brandon tends to like movies. I will say, though, however, Meg 2, or not good, not good, average movie section. We're not to the good movie section yet. Actually, Transformers is straight down the middle, 5 out of 10. Meg 2 is a horrible movie that deserves to be in the bad movie section, but the end really brings it around. In a so bad it's good way. I was so highly entertained by the last 20 minutes of this movie after just wanting to leave the theater and gouge my eyes out that it moved into the average territory for that reason. Number 83, 65. This is a movie that's this low because, again, it just should have been so much better. You're telling me, and I don't know how I've never thought about this, but like going into this movie, I was anticipating a movie. I'm like, you mean dinosaurs, but it's not under the helm of Jurassic Park? And you got Adam Driver in it? It just didn't do things well enough, like at all, across the board. The things I wanted just didn't happen, and the things that did happen that I wanted didn't do it on the level I wanted it to. So this movie is entirely too low on this list in terms of where I wanted it to be, but I got to be real with myself. 65 was just not a good movie. Number 82, The Pope's Exorcist. I really got a kick out of Russell Crowe in this movie. He elevated above most exorcism movies, but this is just not my subgenre of horror, people. Watch it if it is, because it's probably a little better than the rest, but still nothing overly special. Number 81, okay, I haven't looked at this in a while. The Mother with Jennifer Lopez. I almost want to rearrange this, but at the same time, though, I'm looking at it and I'm like, The Mother. I mean, I remember the Mother fucking movie just being average throughout, never dipping into bad, which I actually, was surprised by, so I think I gave it points by that, but it was never good at all either. Skip this one, even though it's at 81. Obviously, it's skippable, but it's just funny because I thought it was going to be bottom 5 for sure. When I went to watch it, I was like, okay, I guess I'll watch this shit. Better than expected, but still not a good movie. Number 80, hate to have it so low, Asteroid City, Wes Anderson. You eat him up or you just fucking can't really get into his flavor. I'm actually mixed on that, but the colorful cast and the colorful set with his off-brandness does kind of pull me in enough here to not put it as bad, but this is one of those, I shift downstream this way, shift downstream this way. Unfortunately, it was the latter into not good territory, but not bad either. Just a one-off weird watch from Wes Anderson as usual. Wish I could put it a little higher. Number 79, Rebel Moon. Dude, just give me the motherfucking Snyder cut. I get more and more frustrated with these movies. I'm like, there's a better cut coming. And I think that's a big reason why I didn't enjoy this movie more. I don't think this is bad as what some people were saying, but it's not a very good action movie either. And I think it has a chance to at least be that with the Snyder cut. So we'll see, when the actual movie comes out. Number 78, The Boogeyman. Sophie Thatcher's my girl from Yellow Jackets. I think I got a little too high on this. People were talking it up. Didn't quite work for me, but wasn't a bad horror movie by any means. Number 77, Good Burger 2. This movie was way higher at one point, but it kind of just wore out its welcome after a while. It kind of felt like that friend you haven't seen in a long time. Maybe you see him in the supermarket. Y'all hit it off for a few moments, but at the same time, you're like, let's not exchange numbers. We're on different paths. But it was good for about 40 minutes, but the nostalgia wore off after a while, and I kind of sat there like, maybe it's because I'm a 32-year-old man now, but it just doesn't vibe as well. Number 76, hate to have it this low, but Napoleon. This is better than a lot of movies above it. Even on my personal list, I feel like if I had to be just on my own merits, but it frustrates me too much because I just hold Joaquin Phoenix, and obviously he's killing me with Beau is Afraid, and this being one of my two highly most anticipated, and it's this low. But with Ridley Scott and this type of movie, they're supposed to knock it out of the park, and they hit. What they did was, it felt like they bunted it, and they didn't even get out. They got to first base, got the runner home, but damn it, bro, what are you doing? Make it a better fucking movie. Y'all got too much talent for this. Napoleon Bonaparte should be a more interesting story, man, to me. And it's like, the story is the story. I know, but the execution is What I mean, damn it. Damn it, Ridley. Damn it, Joaquin. Number 75, Malum. This is another movie, probably be better. I just don't understand why you remake The Last Shift. I mean, I do. I shouldn't say don't understand, but I can't really get into this movie because I like The Last Shift so much. For those that don't know, the director got a bigger budget 10 years later, remade his own fucking movie. I'm not quite ready for a remake of The Last Shift, and The Last Shift was good on its own. I get why you did it, but I was watching it like I just don't really need this, and I'm not quite ready for a remake because Last Shift is too recent. That's the only reason that worked for me, but I'm sure for people that hadn't seen Last Shift, like they probably really enjoyed this as a sleeper hit. But for me, it was just like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Okay movie. And then number 74, we head into good territory. Old Dads. This is one that kind of felt like it maybe would have been better as like some skit. You know, like, I don't know if you ever saw Kevin Hart had that one like skit on Reservoir Dogs. You know, it was like 40, yeah, not even 40 minutes. I think it was like 15 minutes. It was really funny, but does it need to be a whole fucking movie? Old Dads felt very skit-ish in spots where I would laugh a lot, but then I would get really bored. But it was really relatable, and I love Bill Burr. It's worth a one-off watch. First good movie on my list. Here's a bad movie that's high, or a high as in not high on the list overall with, you know, how many entries there are, but in terms of it's in the good territory and probably shouldn't be. A lot of people hated it. Pet Sematary Bloodlines. There's a part at the end I actually did kind of enjoy, but this whole movie is a shit show. And the thing is here, is me and my brother were watching it. We were cracking the fuck up. It's some of like decision making, some of like the dialogue, the lines. It's one of those movies for me that kind of leapt into so bad it's good territory enough to make it, you know, not a good movie at all. I accept it as a bad movie, but it was enjoyable because it was so fucking bad to me in spots. Number 72, Mortal Kombat Legends Cage Match. This is a good movie for sure. Obviously, I've declared that we're in the good movies now, but this is probably it seems like there's a trend with these movies. The Mortal Kombat Legend animated movies, they've all been fucking good. I'm eating them all up, but it seems like each one's gotten a little worse. Let's hope this trend doesn't continue because now it's starting to teeter to where it might slowly get to be not worth my fucking time. But so far, so good. Can't hate too much. Number 71, Elemental. Good kids movie. Really enjoyed watching it with my daughter. But at the end of the day, I just didn't really like any of the cast. But I did love the lead actress. I forget her name in the movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. But the lead character was fucking awesome. She made the movie for me. Number 70, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Talking about skits and things that went on too long. This one is at the good rating, but it would have been so much worse, I think. I mean, I think the movie was only... yeah, it's 59 minutes long, so it's an hour. So it shaved off about 30 minutes. So you add another 30 minutes onto this movie, I think it would have been significantly worse. And that's a normal runtime. An hour, like no movie's an hour. I'm even looking at this, I'm like, how do you even consider this a movie? You know, it feels like a special of some kind. But that's how it's classified on Netflix, so I got to throw it on here. For that reason, technically a movie, but also like, is it really at an hour? But it doesn't take itself too seriously. It doesn't go too long. The more the runtime runs on these type of movies, unless they're done exceptionally well, the nostalgia slowly wears off a little more. Power Rangers was smarter in that regard to get a little higher on my list. Worth a watch if you're a big fan growing up. Number 69, Big George Foreman. You know, not every fucking... I'm not trying to pile on this movie, but here's a bad one in somewhat recent memory, like last 10, 11 years. All Eyes on Me, Tupac. Not every fucking biopic or whatever you want to call it is fucking just flat out horrible. There's a lot of them that get lumped into that are just, you know, good but forgettable. Do we really need it? That's what this one is to me. Not a bad watch, but doesn't stand out amongst the great ones. So unfortunately, I think it will be forgotten, but can't rate it as bad. It was good. Number 68, Outlaw Johnny Black. I was hoping for another, you know, Black Dynamite. Didn't quite get that. And it had moments, you know, it definitely did. But the runtime is way too long in this movie. It drags in spots, and it's just unwarranted. Number 67, Scream 6. This is the classic, oh, I love this. Oh, I hate that. This movie, it's controversial, I guess, my opinions on this, because I had a lot of people just like, well, fuck you for that. It's like, what the fuck, dude? It's just a movie. But there's just so many things in this movie that do not hit the mark. I don't want to go into spoilers, but, you know, watch my review if you want to hear a little bit more on that. Number 66, White Men Can't Jump. This is more of just, I mean, I expected this movie to be horrible. And it was never great. It was never really all that good, but it was never bad either. It was just say like barely borderline good. And I was surprised so much that it was consistently that like I think I ended up liking it way more than I thought I would. Did enjoy White Men Can't Jump, where most people hated it. Number 65. Oh, shout out to Jack Harlow, you know, Louisville's own from Louisville. Number 65, Strays. Just not really into this voiceover type of shit. That's why you don't see me get into like animated movies as much as people either. You know, it's funny in spots. It's like adult Homeward Bound. Can't hate on it. It was good. Number 64, Boston Strangler. I'm just a savant with the serial killer shit, dude. I know pretty much all you need to know about every one of them. And honestly, there's times where I kind of forget, but all I need is like one documentary, and then I'm like, zoom. It's like all the fucking information is like re-downloaded to my mainframe, my hard drive. So I mean, I just, I watched something on Boston Strangler. I just didn't really need this. It was never bad. It was really good. I think if you don't know anything about the Boston Strangler, this movie would go a lot higher on most lists, but it doesn't do anything exceptional enough for somebody that's really well versed on the case and the killer for me to, really give it a higher ranking than this. And it's not the movie's fault. Again, it's just my subjective ranking. It's good. Number 63, Oppenheimer. Yes, start that bell. A lot of people would have this as number one. This is the other movie that was like Beau is Afraid, where I was really into it for like the first 2 hours, but when I looked at my watch, I was like, there's another hour left. I felt myself waning and waning and waning. It's a good movie, but it's a good movie that I never really feel the need to see again. Ugh. That's sad. I'll watch it at least one more time, okay? I will. And let's get more controversy, because what I have ranked over that is Vacation Friends 2. This is what I was talking about, people. Oppenheimer is by far and away a fucking bomb of exploding it apart and putting it Vacation Friends way in the outfield, and Oppenheimer way at home plate, scoring a run. That's just the difference in how much better Oppenheimer is. But again, this is a subjective list. Understand that. Vacation Friends 2, I thought, was a lot worse than the first one. I'll give people that, and a lot of people hated on it. But John Cena did just enough to make this a good comedy to me. We're still just in good territory. It wasn't anything special, but John Cena, man, I've been really eating him up lately, man. Sounds mildly gay. Take that as you will. Number 61, Saltburn. Speaking of mildly gay, this movie, Jesus, nothing wrong with it, people. Oh my God. Anyways, Saltburn, people. This one, I think I need to watch again. Watched it at the very end of the year as I missed in theaters, which bummed me the fuck out. It got released on Amazon Prime, is it? I think it is on Amazon Prime right now. Watched it, like 8 days ago, something like that. And it's really good. It's also really fucking weird, okay? You kind of really weird. You either just grasp onto that really weird, and you're like, ooh, this is my flavor of weird. Or you're just like, this is fucking weird, But there was moments where it was really weird in a cool way. It's unique. It feels uniquely like its own thing. I see a lot of people talk about Talented Mr. Ripley. I get that. But in terms of overall movies, you don't really see stuff like this a lot. So it's really fucking cool. I do like it. It's obviously in the good territory. But this is like one of those, pending movies. I do need to watch it again. It was good. Not really what I expected, though. Number 60, Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. Good, but a terrible send-off. Like, it needs to be better than this, right? I'll leave it at that. Number 59, The Marvels. This was a good movie. But I think so many people are on that roller coaster to the very top with MCU in that last phase. And then ever since, it dropped in terms of like once we went to that high and we retired all our main cast for the most part, people have been very unforgiving for these movies. Like they need a chance to build up again and they just don't want to come all the way back down. And this movie is exactly that. It's nothing special. It's not trying to be anything special. It's just, a fun, turn your brain off till we slowly move our way and trudge our way into more serious moments of this current phase and phases going forward if they do so, because people just don't feel like they're giving it a chance right now. The Marvels I thought was good. Nothing special, but good. Another superhero movie. I actually think this movie was kind of bad, but the chemistry of Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson really elevated it. I had a blast with them and the new Aquaman Lost Kingdom movie, but it definitely was a letdown. A mess, but a funny mess. Number 57, Super Mario Brothers movie. Again, animated movies don't really do it for me. It's probably why it's this low, but I really enjoyed it, you know? But biggest problem I had and gripe with that movie is for the cast to be as stacked as it was with comedians. I thought it should have been funnier. It was good Super Mario movie, but it should have been a little funnier to me. Number 56, Ant-Man Quantumania. Oh my God, I cannot wait to see what they do with Jonathan Majors. Yeah, okay, that's not happening anymore. Separate whatever he did in real life from acting. I'm not saying, oh, he wants us to separate it. We can't do that. He's a piece of shit. I don't even know. I haven't even looked into it entirely to see if he's fucking. And I know he got convicted, but I don't even pay attention to that type of shit. And it's not to say I don't in a way where I'm just like, I don't care about it. I'm just saying, that's going to play out however it's going to, and whatever they decide, I can't change it. So I'm just rolling with the rhythm of it. If he did it, obviously he's a piece of shit and he doesn't deserve to be in these movies. I'm not saying anything against that. I'm just saying it does suck that such a great actor got left out of this as fans of movies. But if he did what he did, obviously, piece of shit. Why must you be a piece of shit, sir? That is, if you are. Again, I don't know shit about this case. I'm just bummed out that Jonathan Majors can't be in this. Who are they going to replace him with, guys? Because, it was a nice little stepping stone. And we'll never know, will we? Quantumania wasn't as bad as people said, I don't think. But neither exceptional and or overly good either. Number 55, Gran Turismo. Not my thing at all, but y'all were right. Everybody kept saying, just watch it, just watch it. And David Harbour, I trust. It's pretty damn fucking good, dude. In fact, I'll say really good. We're in the really good territory now. But again, there's only so much I can capitalize on with it being so much not my thing. That's why it's a little lower. But if this is your thing, holy shit, why have you not watched this yet? Number 54, Barbie. Overrated as fuck. And honestly, it was a little bit lower for me. But, man, that ending was oddly touching, and it raised my score a lot. That's all I'll say. Number 53, Sisu. What a fucking great action, blood and guts, shoot 'em up movie. But, it's one of those, it's just that. So, it's really fucking good for what it is. But there's not, anything overly amazing outside of that. I like to have at least, sometimes that's all I need, but it's good at, like a little 7 out of 10 because a little more, meat on the bone maybe could have rose it up a few more spots. Number 52, The Machine. This movie's just grown on me the more I've watched it. Bert Kreischer actually surprised me. I thought he was really good. And it's just a funny comedy. There's a lot of those this year. Nothing too special in the comedy genre this year, but I laughed at quite a few comedies this year. Number 51, Little Mermaid. I don't get the gripes of this. This was a really fucking... Sorry about that. What is happening? Really good live-action Disney remake. That's it, man. Just really fucking good. Nothing special, but really fucking good. Had a blast with it. Number 50, Dead Center now. Renfield. Enjoy the hell out of this movie. Nick Cage is a vampire. What's not to love? Number 49, The Blackening. Pretty fun movie on tropes. There's certain things and decisions about certain things that I think could have made the movie a lot better, but for what it was, pretty damn good. Number 48, I'm biased. I love Adam Devine, but The Outlaws did crack me up enough to be on this list. It's a fun movie. I thought it was fun. Number 47, Migration. This movie really surprised me. This is probably one of the funniest movies I watched this year. I love this movie. Am I saying love? Are we in the love category? Not quite yet. But for a kid's movie, I fucking love this movie. I'll definitely watch this again. I look forward to it with my kids. So if you haven't seen Migration yet, because it just came out recently, if it's still in theaters, make the trip, dude. It's great. I'm worried it's not going to get enough money because there's like nobody in our theater. This is quality. Number 46, Dungeons and Dragons. Just like Gran Turismo, dude. Not my thing at all. And I skipped this movie because it looked bad, and then I heard so much positive word of mouth. I wanted to make my way back to it. Didn't do it until recently. Just watched this recently. And again, y'all were fucking right, dude. This movie was a ton of fucking fun. Nothing more, nothing less, but a ton of fucking fun. And I shouldn't say nothing more. There's a few little emotional beats that, raise it up to. Very fucking good movie. I look forward to a sequel, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Number 45, Sick. This is one that I watched recently, too. I didn't watch it at the beginning of the year because I was, all movied out, like I said, after watching 160 movies last year. It's fucking ridiculous, even for me. And I just honestly like I love the director, John Himes, and I love the lead actor, man. I really do enjoy his work, or like not lead actor, but I don't even know how to say his name. Mark Menchaca. How the hell you say that dude's name? But they've worked together on like another movie called Alone, and they did it again. They do a really good job of dialing up tension and suspense. The only thing that really holds this movie back, I think I would have loved it a lot more if I would have seen it when it came out, because the mask thing is just off-putting. It's like, oh my God, far right, bitch, mask work. I'm not saying, they do or don't. I'm not going to go there with it on this fucking channel because I know how people work, okay? But the thing is I'm saying, like, I just feel like we're so far pretty much removed from that now, no matter where I sit on any end of the table, that when I see that, it's just like oh, God, the further we get away from this shit, the better, just as a people in general. Obviously, if, say, they do work and it's killing people, I'm not trying to offend the far right. They don't work. I'm not saying that. I'm saying hypothetical here, people, for both sides. Say they do work and they're saving lives. 100% of people that wear masks live. I'm not fucking saying like these bastards, why are they wearing masks? I'm saying that just in general, man. Like, I'm happy to be away from that era. Things kind of feel like real life again. So when I revisit it, whereas when it came out, it would have been relatable. It's like, oh man, this is kind of cool. I get what they're doing here. And it might be cool in a few years, like while going back. But right now, it's still like a sour taste going back and watching shit like that. But the movie as a whole is really good. Number 44, Cocaine Bear. You know exactly what it is. It's really good. Good times. No, I mean, that's it, man. There's not much else to say. It's a bear fucking on cocaine, killing people. You know what you're getting, and it delivers on that. Number 43, I thought that was underrated. Another stand-up comedian, stepping into the spotlight. Robert De Niro, I got a soft spot for. I thought it was really good comedy. Number 42, Equalizer 3. Really good movie, but I feel like I could tell Denzel's running out of steam a little bit, which Father Time's undefeated, but can he do roles like this for much longer? I felt that in this movie, and it made me kind of sad and lowered my score a little bit. But it also upped it back up just a smidge, because I'm just impressed that, he can still do movies like this, and he's still putting himself on the line for it. Number 41, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. This is a really good vampire movie that was fucking great in spots, but it didn't quite overall hit that great mark, but really fucking good. Number 40, No Hard Feelings. This is a fucking great comedy, but very few times do comedies make it into my great movie scale. So it's a little bit down lower, but I was really surprised by this one. It reminded me a lot more than any comedy this year of that era of just, where the Judd Apatows were dominating, Seth Rogens of the world, people like that, where I just was in love with comedies, man. And it gives me, that nostalgic kind of vibe to it, and I love it for that reason. Number 39, Infinity Pool. This is one that needs a rewatch. This is like the first movie on the year that I watched, where I was just, even movies I wanted to see, I was putting off to the side. But this one, I had to make my way out to theaters. So I was like, dude, are you kidding me? Cronenberg. I want to see what he does, just, capitalizing on his father's success and, kind of creating his own little lane, all while having his father's same flavor, and Mia Goth. And it didn't disappoint. There's moments where I was like, do I love it? Do I not? Do I love it? Do I not? Settling right under loving it, but it's really fucking good. And I think when I rewatch it, I'm going to love it even more. Number 38, Extraction 2. We just, like I said in the review, we hold these movies to such a high standard. Like, they all got to be fucking John Wick. And they're not quite that, man. But this movie, it's not your Heart of Stone that's at the bottom. It tries. It's well done. The choreography's fucking great. It just misses the great mark, but I mean barely. And I think if I watch it again, I'll give it that nudge, because I mean, we just don't get enough action movies like this. It's a really fucking good action movie, and I can't really, in an era where I don't really like action movies, outside of martial arts movies, and even those are kind of few and far between right now. What the fuck? I just realized that. This is fucking damn good. Check it out if you're an action fan and you've been putting these off for some reason. Number 37, Past Lives. This is one that underwhelmed at first, but something about just the reality, real feeling of it, that A24 vibe, that not even a vibe, but like it's an A24 film. A lot of times I say that like it has a vibe like an A24 film, but I'm saying that classic A24 vibe that just resonates with you, because most of these A24 movies that do stuff like this, they don't go by, you know, your cookie cutter shit. And sometimes you want the cookie cutter shit, but you realize like, no, this is a realistic portrayal of like a certain type of love, and you could maybe even relate to it. And there's something about it that sits with you and lingers. And the score did boost quite a bit for that reason. Not quite great like I wanted it to be, but it definitely, I see why people think this movie's great. And I'm not a romance guy, so this is high, you know, on my romance list at least. I'll give it that. Past Lives was damn good. Knock at the Cabin. I watched this one way late. Again, it was in my era of not going to see movies even though I wanted to see because I needed a fucking break from new movies at least. I'm glad I circled back around. I had to see it at some point. M. Night Shyamalan, hit or fucking miss. I really don't even think he has that many great movies. This one came damn close. I really enjoyed this. And Batista, man, perfect fucking character for him. Like heartwarming, but also, you know, heartwarming type of character, not movie, but heartwarming type of character where you like, you want to trust him. You want to have that like Stockholm syndrome almost because he's so warm and pleasant, but he also looks like somebody that could rip your fucking head off if you wanted to. He plays that type of role very well. Knock at the Cabin at 36. Number 35. Not into cartoons that much, but dude, I gotta say, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I liked it even better than the first one. Almost got a great rating, right on the cusp. This was in my top 10 early in the fucking year. I was really surprised by it. Good fucking movie. I am a big fan of Miles Morales now. I was on the fucking edge. I was like, dude, I like this one. Sealed it. Number 34. Had to circle back around this one because I didn't think this would be good. I'm surprised. I saw the Rotten Tomatoes scores. And that for some reason made me shut in even more. I was like, really? You're gonna give Megan that high of a Rotten Tomatoes score? I'm here to tell you, people, this is a really fucking good movie. If you skipped it, it is really fucking good. I mean, know what it is. I'm like, it's really good. It's like Shawshank good. I'm like, first of all, I call that great. But for what it is, this is a fun fucking killer doll movie. I'm so sorry. Chucky's right there. He might stab me in the back or shoot me. He's got a gun. But it's not that, but pretty fucking good effort here, man. Could have been so much worse. Number 33, Saw X. First great movie. Going forward, it's all great movies. Saw X surprised the shit out of me. Still somewhat recent, so if you haven't seen it, definitely worth your time. Check it out. I mean, it's probably my favorite since the original, so that's saying something, even though I'm not huge on the Saw franchise, but still. The 10th movie being your second favorite in a franchise, that's tough. Number 32, Totally Killer. Like I said in the review, we've seen so many movies like this lately. It seems like that's a new trend. It's a Wonderful Knife kind of did something very similar to this, and this is just a way better version of that. The go back in time to stop a killer type of shit. You know, the jokes in this movie landed a lot for me too. I thought it was really funny in spots. Totally Killer is awesome, man. Number 31, Reptile. We've seen this movie get, you know, praise, I think, but it's usually, you know, it's just consistently everybody thinks it's good, not great. I'm here to tell you I think Reptile's great. I think the movie overall, I'll give you that, is just good. But I think Benicio del Toro, who I'm a huge fan of, raises this movie. And I love the last scene. It kind of leaves us on a song leading into the credits. And I'm a sucker for that type of thing. If the song hits with the movie and kind of just makes you stare into the credits, like you're not even looking at the credits, but you're like looking through them and just kind of going back on everything you watched. It's like a year in review type of vibe. It just has that effect, and that resonation really made it great to me at the end of the day. Another great movie I haven't seen in a long time, and a long time meaning like real early in the year, Air. Air was a fucking great movie. I do want to rewatch this. Love the cast. They all delivered. There's a lot of movies this year where the good cast did not do what they were supposed to do, in my opinion. This was not one of them. They elevated the source material that was already good with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan fan, why have you not seen this yet? Number 29, Please Don't Destroy the Treasure of Foggy Mountain. First time I watched this, I thought it was really fucking good. I was surprised. Second time I watched it, fell in love with these dudes, man. You know, it's that same vibe that, like, you know, this is the rare great comedy to me and the rare great comedy in a while. It just was a movie that just, it reminded me of me in my 20s and what me and my friends did. Loved it so much. Number 28, Thanksgiving. This was a great slasher, but it could have been one of the best in like the last 20 years, man. They kind of missed the mark with the characters. They just weren't fun enough. And the movie just, you know, it was fucking great. It delivered on so many slasher needs and things you got to have. But there's just a couple things that make it a little frustrating because it could have been, you know, top 10 of the year with a few tweaks. But get the hype, bro. Thanksgiving is great. Number 27, Killers of the Flower Moon. I hate having it this low. Originally, I had it even lower. There's just certain, it's more of personal gripes. The movie's fucking damn near flawless, but things that I personally wanted that I did not get. And again, this is a subjective list, but it went from like a 7.2, which is really good to me, to now in that 8.2 territory. It is a great movie, but I wanted to be in that 9 territory, so I'm a little let down, but a great movie nonetheless. Number 26, The Conference. If you've not seen this on Netflix and you don't mind reading subtitles, I'm just going to say this is a great fucking slasher movie. The comedy is a little weird because, it's like overseas. I think it's like Russian or some shit. And I don't know the exact language. I don't want to, say something I don't know. So I'm going to say Russian or some shit. But it's fucking great. And the comedy, like I said, it's a little, maybe it's, I just don't get that type of comedy. It didn't really work for me. But once the kills and the killers started, it's fucking phenomenal in a slasher sense. Number 25, It Lives Inside. I put this movie off forever. I've seen a lot of people say it's a good slow burn, but the ending really fucking lets it down. Like once the monster or whatever is revealed type of shit. Maybe I'm just a big fan of practical effects, but I was looking at this movie, PG-13. I was like, I'm probably not going to end up liking it. It was a slow burn, but once it got going, I loved it. The lore of everything was really cool. And then the monster, I could see how some people don't really like it. They're like, it's just goofy, the monster. This type of film, you wanted to be downright serious in every aspect, and maybe they didn't take the monster serious, but like the practical effects and everything, I thought it was really fucking cool. I'm surprised that so many people hated on this movie. It Lives Inside, cracked the top 25, loved it. Number 24, The Creator. This isn't a phenomenal sci-fi movie, but it's definitely deserving more credit than it's getting. The Creator does just enough to build its own little world to separate it from other sci-fi movies, and I thought it was fucking great, and it had moments of brilliance in it, but overall, it just didn't quite hit that, God, this is amazing level, but it was great. I think it's worth a watch. Bottom tier, great for sure. Number 23, Fast X. This is a guilty pleasure. I was pretty much done with these movies after Fast 9, but Jason Momoa, eat your fucking heart out, dude. He's so fun to watch in this movie. It's dumb fun. Love it. Number 22, Silent Night. I could see how this is on completely ends of the spectrum for other people, but this is going to probably end up being a Christmas classic for me. It's not top tier John Woo, but it still was a great little action flick at the end of the day. Again, we can't weigh things on the merits of fucking John Wick. The action was pretty fucking cool. And I love, the festive cheer with the Christmas spirit and the little gimmick. See how some people hate it, but I was, at times I'm like, it'd probably be better with words, but I also was very impressed on how they carried over scenes without it. It was a cool enough, experience for me. I loved it. Number 21, Blue Beetle. This was a lot higher. It's just a really great superhero movie to me. And for me personally, I got a little, like in my own wheelhouse here. I'm obviously not Mexican. I don't know if you can tell. Then again, you got like Canelo Alvarez, who's got like reddish hair. So maybe I could be. Hola. No, but my family, is like Mexican. Like my wife is Mexican. My daughter, obviously, is a half-breed. I was like, what? A fucking half-breed? What are we talking about here? No, obviously. She's half Mexican. Love her to death. She actually keeps fucking popping in at the edge. I gotta watch my words. Oh, no. But she keeps popping in. She obviously won something, and I feel bad. But I'm like, I cannot ruin this video for the 6th time. Please, Aria, hold on. I'm working. I'm trying. Daddy's trying. But just seeing that culture play out in real life, I love it. It's really cool. And to see it play out in the movie, it was, it resonated with me, It's very cool, man. I love being married into a Mexican family. They're great people. If you ever get the chance, no better people to party with, and it's a fun movie to party with. Number 20, Creed 3. Wish it would have been top 10, but I liked it a lot more than Creed 2. That's controversial to say. Creed 2 is a really good movie. It wasn't great to me. Missed a lot of spots. Kind of ruined the character of Ivan Drago to me. I want to hate that motherfucker. Don't make me like him. Felt like Creed 2 should have been the final event, because what bigger movie? I was wondering what they could do after, he literally avenges his father's death almost, basically. So that feels like it should be the final in a trilogy or something. Like, how could they bring this back? Jonathan Majors, just talked about him. He fucking killed it. They made it happen. They made it work. I thought Creed 3 was great. It wasn't the fucking best movie in the franchise, but I mean, how hard is that going to be to do? I'm talking about the whole franchise collectively with Rocky. Number 19, Evil Dead Rise. Fucking love this movie. I don't get the hate. and it doesn't have a lot of hate, but as the love grew, it seemed like more hate was just spewing in. This was fucking awesome. The mom was so awesome in this movie. Number 18, No One Will Save You. This one came out of nowhere. I watched it, had no idea what it was about. Fucking loved it. This is a great sci-fi horror movie if you've not seen it yet. I don't want to say too much more than that. Number 17, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. What a great close to our fucking offbeat heroes. Can't say much more than that about it. It's just fucking amazing. So, I don't know what else to say about it. It's so fucking perfect for what it is, man. It was a perfect close to the franchise. Number 16, Dumb Money, was just amazing. I mean, this is the type of movie that just, you as the little man, just like, let's fucking stick it to the big heads, dude, that think they're better than us. And the fact that it's a true story, it almost gets you borderline emotional. Just a great movie. Number 15, Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm a very lukewarm fan of the Hunger Games. I get the hype now. I don't know how other Hunger Game fans are feeling, like after this ain't no Katniss shit. But this is just a fucking amazing origin story that I think can actually maybe creep into the top 10 once, now that I know, because the third act started and I was like, what are we going to do for another hour? So I was kind of wishy-washy. I'm like, is this going to ruin the movie? But by the end, it tied up quite nicely. I think now knowing where it's going in the third act, I would like it even more. I loved it. Number 14, The Iron Claw. Dude, last review I had on this channel before this, other than the sports one, right? Iron Claw is a great fucking movie. I mean, much as I love wrestling, I did not know much about the Von Erichs, and it just kept getting more devastating as it went along, but in such a beautiful way, if that makes sense. A24 is so good. Number 13, A Good Person. What a damn good movie. And I'll leave it at that. Florence Pugh and fucking Morgan Freeman's dynamic, so good. Florence Pugh, I'm a sucker for. I was a diehard fan of her before she blew up to the rest of the world. It's just hard for me to dislike a movie of hers. Number 12, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. What a fucking movie, and I can't get enough of it. And honestly, I can't wait for part 2. Just bring it on. I cannot wait. It's going to be so good. And this one just sets you up perfectly for it. You really are just excited for what's going to come next. Number 11, They Clone Tyrone. Netflix did some fucking flicks this year, bro. A lot of times Netflix originals, if they're good, you might get one great one, but they're usually like barely good. Like this movie was fucking amazing. And just seeing what John Boyega can do as an actor, as he really tapped into this role, he disappeared in it, man. So fucking great. Speaking of great Netflix movies, I see how some people wouldn't like this. This was almost like Dexter, except with a hitman killer to me. I mean, come on, man. The Killer. I thought it was great. I thought Michael Fassbender was amazing in the role. I just got so sucked into everything that was going on. I could see how the ending's a little anticlimactic to some people, but I loved it. David Fincher might be my favorite director. This was a bounce back for him after coming off Mank. And this is where I disappear, people. I am here still, though. Trust me. Bottoms coming at number 9. This movie came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting much from it at all, but it was so damn good. Number 8, When Evil Lurks. If you don't watch movies with subtitles, bro, make that a difference now. Like, do not do that, because When Evil Lurks is so damn good, man. I love it so much. This is one that I think is going to go under a lot of people's radar, but you got to see it. I mean, if you like gory horror movies, and trust me, this is gory, this is fucking downright fucked up. So know who you are, but I think you got a good chance at loving it. Number 7, Cobweb. It's a movie that flips itself on its head out of nowhere, kind of in the middle and the end, but I think it's all the better for it. I see how that fucked with some detractors, but this movie I thought was phenomenal overall. It was a big surprise for me. Number 6, Leave the World Behind. This is going to be controversial. A lot of people hated the ending. I loved it. And it's just a movie that feels like it could happen. I mean, people are so, caught up in the coziness of their own homes, playing on their smartphones, acting like nothing can happen. You never fucking know, bro. This movie really kind of like sent a realistic shiver down my spine. And whereas I've been talking about certain actors not bringing it with big ensembles, these motherfuckers brought it. I loved every actor in this movie. Controversial, I know, but Leave the World Behind is a banger to me. Number 5, The Covenant. Just the brotherhood between Jake Gyllenhaal and I forget the other lead actor's name in this movie. you know it's palpable. You believe it. You're fucking in every scene. You're locked in with this movie. It doesn't, you know, let you breathe at times when they're really in the moments of trying to get away from everything. I absolutely loved it. Number 4, The Flash. This is going to be controversial, but I love the superhero movie seemingly more than anybody. I get the gripes with CGI, even though I think a lot of it, what me and Rodney coined as the time bubble, where they go into different layers of time and shit, I think that was kind of done on purpose. But this movie was fucking amazing to me. I think a lot of people that are hating on DC right now are just trying to bury it. I think this movie's better than a lot of people are giving credit for. Number 3, Talk to Me is just fucking amazing. It's so hard to say a bad word about this movie. A24 and horror movies typically deliver, and this one, you know, did that and then some. I knew this movie was going to be good. I could feel it in my bones, but it exceeded expectations. What's her name? Raka Raka or whatever the fuck. They directed this movie. Dude, I've got to see what they do going forward because this was amazing. The lead character just stole my heart. Just tragic. All the things she would try to do, and no matter what she would do, it seemed like everything would fall apart around her. It was a beautiful, sad movie. Number 2, this was my number 1 for most of the year, John Wick Chapter 4. If this is where they end it, dude, round of applause. They're probably not going to, but what a fucking action spectacle. How can you hate on the John Wick franchise? And what a close if it is that. And number 1, Godzilla -1. Finally knocked John Wick out of the number 1 spot. These top 2 are interchangeable. It's tough, but I had to put Godzilla -1 at number 1. I'm a big kaiju fan. I'm not diehard, but I am a big one. And this one blew me away, shattered expectations. If you've not seen this fucking movie, go see it. Anyways, guys, that's the 100 movies I watched this year. I loved them. I don't know if you've heard my daughter. She's been in the back room saying, "Daddy, Daddy," over and over again. Luckily, I can tell there's nothing wrong with her. I think she's just getting restless because I've been in here for 51 fucking minutes. And I feel bad about that, but I got to get this video out, and I know she's safe and sound. And she's driving me crazy and pulling my hair out right now if you can see me. But this is the video you get, guys. The camera went black again. I can't catch a break with this video. I hope this was good enough. I love you guys. Till next time. Like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. You know, do whatever you want to do. Let me know y'all's, you know, top 10s or whatever. Or if you want to type out of 100, that's cool. I got to go get to my daughter. What? Where you at? What? Let's see what this was. Oh, come on. She's crazy.